What's up, boys? It's Nick from Team 501 here. I'm the king of the scrubs, and today I'm here with a very interesting topic to propose to you guys. This is something that has been talked a lot on the GP Denver stream in between the rounds, and I want to talk about a little bit about the health of Standard and the diversity of Standard. Now, a lot of it comes down to one deck, and it is this mono-red beat-down deck. This isn't particularly just like a special list, this is just a list that I found. So, as we all know, after the Pro Tour, Mono Red was undoubtedly the best deck of the format. You had other top-tier decks, but this was the deck. This was the deck to beat. So how did people combat it? Well, they played Black-Green Energy or Mono Black Zombies. So now, arguably, GP Minneapolis goes by, Zombies wins the event. Zombies is now undisputably the best deck of the format. I should have had more deck lists up, but I think you're going to get my point either way. How do people combat it? Well, they play decks like Blue-White Approach of the Second Sun, which is a very popular deck. I don't know if it's a good deck, but it's a very popular deck and is very good at beating zombies. And they play God Pharaoh's Gift because it just goes bigger than the Zombies deck with more invasive and powerful threats than the Zombies deck can produce. So, here we are now. Is Standard in a healthy place? My answer is yes. I think that we have a very strong Standard format. And now, this is where this link comes up. So back when the Saheeli combo was legal in Standard, it was first built as a all-in combo deck and then transformed into this 4-color mid-range deck that could beat you without the combo. So many people, I don't think many people are going to disagree with me here. Very few people thought that this specific Standard environment was a healthy one because there were only 2 decks you could play at the time. You were either playing Black-Green with Emerald the Protestant, which was one of the most oppressive cards I think we've ever seen in recent history, or you played this deck, and the mirror matches were pure fucking AIDS. Like, that's about as good as it's going to get. So, the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people are hating on this mono-red beatdown deck. And this is a very, special question that we actually talked about at my F&M on Friday night. And a couple of guys and I were talking about Standard and how we were getting ready. I think one of them was getting ready to go to DC. And we were talking about the format. And one of them brought up how they're not a particular fan of Mono Red. How they hate watching Mono Red, they hate playing against Mono Red, they hate playing Mono Red, they hate everything about it. And I brought up the very particular question of this. Well, would you rather play against the Mono Red deck, or would you rather play against the Saheeli combo deck? And almost every single person agreed they'd much rather play against the red deck. Because not only is it easier to beat because of how heavily represented it is of the metagame, it's also the fact that this deck very rarely kills you on turn 4. Saheeli can very consistently kill you on turn 4. It basically boils down to the fact that there is no one deck that is so oppressive nothing else can compete. Because you can play whatever you want, just as long as it has the capability to compete with the top contenders of the format. So decks like Blue-Red Control, Jeskai God Pharaoh's Gift, Blue-White Approach of the Second Sun, these decks are doing incredibly well because they've been built and just the raw power of their specific archetypes have the ability to compete with these very specific decks, which therefore creates the healthy metagame, because now instead of only having 1 deck to pick, or 3 decks to pick, you have 7, 8, 9 possible decks you could play and do well with at any specific tournament. I'm going to try to quote Ben Stark verbatim here, but he's basically saying that when looking at the results of a tournament, you don't look at what did well. You look at what percentage of the field was each specific deck, so you know what to tune for. What are you likely to run into? Now, yeah, sure. Pro Tour was, I don't know the exact numbers, I'm just making hypothetical numbers up here for the sake of my point. Let's just say that Mono Red is 35% of the metagame. So out of like a 10-round tournament or an 11-round tournament, 4 of your 11 matches are going to be against mono red. Okay, whatever. You'll build your deck with red in mind because you're going to play it at least statistically 4 times in the Swiss. Black-green, 27% of the format or whatever. 3 out of your 11 matches, going to be black-green. And then 3 out of your 11 matches are going to be zombies or whatever. Just play that can compete with those decks. There's so much variety in the cards that you have. Wizards has done a great job at printing effective cards to counteract the strategies that are at the top of the format. The Zombies deck, for example, cards like Magma Spray, Abrade, Harnessing, just all the efficient red removal deals with almost all of the threats in the deck. Against Constrictor, cards like Solemnity, Cast Out, Stasis Snare, Fumigate, very powerful white cards are good against the Constrictor deck. Against Mono Red, you have very powerful blue and white cards that are good against this deck. You have Censor as an effective 2-mana play spell. You have Renewed Faith, Blessed Alliance, all those sort of things to gain life. Authority of the Councils really hinders the deck's capability to push in a lot of damage. So you have this wide variety of answers. There's a great mixture of threats and answers in the current metagame. And that's why people like playing Standard. That's why we have a very healthy format. On the contrary is the Saheeli deck. You had to play really bad cards to beat this deck. You had to play cards like Lost Legacy or Dispossess or Authority of the Councils. Like when this card first came out, this card was garbage. This card was complete garbage. The only reason people played it was because of the Saheeli combo. And now all of a sudden it's good again because of Haste. Haste is just such a relevant keyword. It's on so many powerful threats in the format that Authority is such a good card, but that's besides the point. The point is that you don't have to play bad cards anymore. Like when Saheeli was popular, you needed to have instant speed removal. If your deck was not playing instant speed removal, no matter what color you were in, you were just doing it wrong. It's the same thing when Copter was in Standard. If your deck was not packing any sort of removal spell to deal with the Copter, you were just doing it wrong. If your deck wasn't playing the Copter, either it was too expensive or you were playing a control deck, whatever, that's fine. But if you were not packing a efficient removal spell to the Copter, you're just doing it wrong. Now you don't have to worry about the feeling. I did not mean to open a second tab, but whatever. I think my point still stands, There's so many different types of cards you can choose from that it means that you really it kind of becomes hard to build a successful deck, You can try to go under the meta like Ramanov Red. You can go big like Zombies in Black-Green. You can just say no all the time and play Blue-Red Controller, Blue-White Approach, You can do all these cool things, and that's what's fun about Standard. You can do a bunch of things. There is no, you do have your Tier 1 decks, but there is no one Tier 1 deck. And I think that's the main difference between this format and other formats, because other formats only had one deck to play. Right after Aether Revolt came out, if you were not playing Saheeli combo, or you're not playing Mardu Vehicles, you were just playing one of the worst decks in the format. There was no question about it. You were just playing a terrible deck. So but there were other ways. Now, sure, you could say there were variants of Mardu Vehicles and Jeskai Saheeli. You could play 4-color Saheeli, 3-color Saheeli, Jeskai Saheeli Control. You could play Mardu Vehicles with blue and add Spell Queller and Spirits and just no. You had to play one of those 2 decks or you would never win a tournament. Ever. So, I think that's about going to wrap it up for this video. I just wanted to... What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Standard right now? How do you think the format is? I like the format right now. I like where it is. I may not like the decks, but I like where it is. I don't particularly like going up against Mono Red and Zombies, but you know what? I'd much rather go up against those than Saheeli, so... But yeah, let me know what you think of this format in the comment section down below. My name is Nick from Team Table 501. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.